What's going on, you guys? It's the Common Investor here, bringing another video. Today, we want to kind of talk about a specific industry that's been hit pretty hard with the whole COVID situation and everything going on, and that's the airline sector. Obviously, they've been hit the hardest. They're not even operational at the moment, for the most part, and the future of airlines are pretty bleak at this point. We had the Boeing CEO kind of come out and say something about the airline sector. So I'll pitch it over to Eric. I think he's got more of a better quote than I would for what he said. So
Yeah, so I think we should start when we talk about just the development of planes. And we talk about Raytheon and we talk about Boeing a lot because we kind of like aerospace and defense as a pretty safe investment. And a lot of the CEOs have actually come forward and said that people are underestimating the effect that COVID's going to have on planes and air travel for quite some time. It's not going to be a 1-year recovery. It's probably looking more to 3 to 5 years. So we had the Raytheon CEO talking about how most of their business has to do with, doing work on engines, and they're going to have a decrease in that based on a decrease in flights. We saw Boeing say that they're going to decrease the production of planes as they're not needed. A lot of airlines are going to be storing some planes because flight is just not going to be at the same level as it was. And then today we saw Boeing CEO say that flight travel isn't going to be going back to the numbers of pre-COVID-19 numbers until probably 5 years from now. And when you talk about airlines, you talk about 3 to 4 major airlines, you talk about Delta, talking about United, some Southwest, tossing in some American Airlines. And he basically said that he didn't say which one, but he said one of the airline companies will probably fail due to a lack of flights. So it's really interesting that in the sector that you work in and the people that buy your planes, you'd kind of talk about that one of them is going to fail.
Yeah.
You can be a straight shooter, but it doesn't really sound like the best business practice to me. But yeah, it's just a lot of the CEOs of these aerospace companies coming out and saying this, and now hearing this. I guess it's really time to talk about, could we see a change in the airline industry? Can we see some rearranging or some buyouts? So definitely something that we need to talk about.
yeah, I definitely see more of probably people getting bought out. I know the government probably will already kind of said that they'd step in and kind of help out these companies. But right now, I think Delta's losing millions of dollars every week or day.
Yeah.
There's no way that's sustainable. And based on when we're going to be kind of back up and open as a country, there's no way that they're going to be able to sustain that. So I don't know if Delta's going to make it. What I see airlines that are making it, obviously I like Southwest, but I feel like their advantage is they're more of like the low budget airline. They buy kind of secondhand aircraft, and they're only doing flights in America. So I feel like, once we do open back up, flights outside of the country are not going to be like they were for a long time. I think flights in the country, that's where the majority of the flights are going to be. So I feel like if you've got a strong foothold in flying inside the U.S., you're going to be all right. But if you are dependent on doing country to country travel, I think that's where you're going to kind of go into a lot of trouble. That's kind of how I look at it. So I kind of feel like Southwest is a little bit, safer than others. They don't have, most of them have cut their dividends anyway. They had a small one before this anyway.
Yeah, and I'm like 99% certain with Southwest that I was listening to, they're talking about doing temperature screenings, and if we see an increase in rapid testing or whatnot, and they're, I believe, providing the more room in the cabin options. So they've definitely started to do something to combat this no COVID-19 travel when we do return. Um, my main concern with basically the entire market, besides, I mean, you've got your blue chip tech stocks that are going to continue to grow because nobody cares. Um, nobody cares about COVID when they're still producing. So um, when you look at like disease curves, you see a propagated disease curve, which is a person-to-person contact, and so you'll see. If you just want to watch my finger here, you'll see a nice little growth, and then you'll see a nice little plateau, and that plateau usually maintains itself, and then you'll see another spike. So I mean that happens. Every single little spike can turn into another outbreak, and I think if we open up too soon, I mean New York is opening this Friday. If we open up too soon, we might see an increase in cases. I mean, we're doing the phases, we're doing everything um, to the best of what I believe is the ability, starting to jumpstart this economy. But I think you're definitely going to see some spikes, and it might toy with the economy a little bit. We saw a 500-point decrease today, um, and I'm pretty sure that's based on LA County saying that they were going to increase their stay at home until the end of July. They're thinking about it. So right now, if you're in airlines, I don't know if it's the best idea to sell. I'm not buying right now. I might hold. Um, but based on balance sheets, based on growth, based on business plan, I really like Southwest. Big fan of United. American is kind of a safe bet because I mean the feds will never let them fail. Uh, it's American Airlines, so um, Delta's got a decent balance sheet. I mean they're burning through a lot of cash, but they have one of the better balance sheets. But I'd probably steer more towards United or Southwest.
Yeah.
What did they say it was going to take 5 years to get back? The Boeing CEO said 5 years to get back to where they were before.
Yeah, 5 years to get back to pre-COVID-19 flight
Do you guys like?
numbers.
I know we're not like professional airline analysts here, but do you guys believe that it will take 5 years to get back to that, or do you think
Well,
that's like a
here's
little overestimate on?
here's the thing: is a lot of people are brushing off the original people, or people that weren't necessarily in the sector, saying, people think it's going to return instantly with a vaccine. But I mean, you'll see some increase in travel, but you're going to see a lot of people um, doing more web-based conferencing, less travel, more web-based. I mean, when one sector emerges, other sectors suffer, right?
Mhm.
So to get full confidence back, it's going to take a lot more than just a vaccine. It's going to take a lot of time, I think. So I agree that it's not a 1 year thing. It's not a 2 year thing. It's definitely further down the road. But if you believe in airlines, then it's definitely a good point to invest in. I would just try to pick the better ones, more Southwest United. I mean, here's my thing. If I wanted to be in travel and tourism, I wouldn't be getting resorts. I'm not huge on casinos. Um, Cruises, I'm a little more bearish on, but I mean, people are always going to fly. People are always going to travel, whether it's work, business related. There's some necessity for flying. So that's this. If I was going to do travel and tourism, I'd definitely do it in airlines and definitely in Southwest or United.
Yeah, I could definitely see like a lot of companies after COVID, like working online, conferencing online for that, just being a little more wary about sending their people out. Like they'll just see maybe like conference calling online does the job just fine, so they'll just be like, we'll just go with this for a little bit.
I
Do it
mean,
on
when the large conferences where you spend thousands of dollars to spend 2 nights in a hotel with thousands of other people
on
to learn about,
vacation.
yeah, they basically vacation, that companies spend thousands and thousands of dollars for every single year.
Yeah, I could.
Networking opportunities. I could see that kind of diminishing over the next few years and moving more to an online platform until, I mean, it's going to take a lot of years to rebuild the confidence of large social gatherings.
Yeah, and then there's definitely obviously going to be a crowd of people that are like, all right, COVID's over, time to travel, going on vacation. So
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be those people, and that's why that's why I think, you know, when you look at a propagated disease curve, I wish I had it up, but you see many different spikes after plateaus. Uh, it's really going to take a vaccine, which, I mean, could be anywhere from this December. Probably, I mean, I'm no disease expert, but I do know the process that goes into creating vaccines and testing them.
It's not an overnight thing.
It's not an overnight thing. I mean, some people are saying, you know, September we're going to be fine, we're going to have a vaccine, but approval doesn't happen that fast with all the lab trials that are
Yeah,
necessary. I mean, it's
it
I
definitely shouldn't happen fast.
yeah, I don't think the estimates of like December through March of 20 like December 2020 to March of 2021 are far off. But I mean, hearing some of the September stuff, I'm just like, come on, let's be a little realistic here with how many trials. I mean, I didn't have some sort of experience with those trials. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot longer than a couple months, but
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch kind of everything unfold. Everything kind of happens quickly. I feel like
And
there's like
everything changes like
it's yeah,
every week or day.
every week there's a completely new change, and it's just kind of changes the outlook of everything. So it's really
so
hard to estimate kind of what's going to happen because don't really know.
so for a summary, Luke loves Southwest,
Love Southwest. I have
loves Southwest.
Southwest credit card, so I really don't want them to go out of business because I want my points.
Luke loves Southwest. If I'm going traveling tourism, I like airlines more than anything else, and I'm United or Southwest. Delta has a pretty good balance sheet. Everything's burning a lot of cash, but I just like the business plan of United and Southwest more. And Nick, do you have any preferences, or are you staying away from airlines?
I mean, I there's no reason that I'm not in airlines right now. I'm just not in them right now, but I definitely like look into them. I definitely think they're gonna go. They're not like a bad long-term play at all. Definitely a good long-term play if you're in the right airline.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got my portfolio of Southwest there. It's my fourth biggest holding. I'm not putting any more money into them right now because it's just kind of hard to figure out the outlook and whether you can make whether I can make a better return somewhere elsewhere quicker, which for the most part it's probably true. So I'm not putting any more money into them, which is kind of on the hold stage, which we kind of just talked about. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing with my Southwest.
Yeah, I've got some money on the sidelines right now, and it's just, I mean, I'm looking at restaurants. I'm looking at some travel tourism through airlines. I'm looking at some banking. It's just, I'm looking for the best buying opportunity across those three sectors. So, I mean, if it happens to be airlines, then you already heard which ones I'm looking at. So,
Right, yeah. Well, I think it was a good video today, kind of just industry specific, kind of getting our thoughts on everything. So we'll probably just end it there. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll look forward to the next video.